So Elgato just made a ton of huge announcements last night. They launched a bunch of new audio devices, the biggest Stream Deck we've ever seen, and probably the best announcement, Wavelength 3 is finally out for everyone. Wavelength 3, if you don't know, is Elgato's audio mixing software, kind of like Voicemeeter, except I don't get night terrors thinking about it anymore. It used to be locked down to just Elgato devices. You needed to own Elgato hardware just to use it. That's no longer the case anymore. You can now use Wavelength with any microphone or any audio interface or any gaming headset, and it's completely free. It's not a subscription, it's not a trial. You can literally download it right now and start using it in like 5 minutes. I'm not going to talk about Wavelength in this video because I already did a video about it a couple months ago. I'll leave that link in the description. I don't think people are going to truly appreciate what these new devices are capable of until they get them in their hands. If I had to summarize it in one word, latency. By the time you get to the end of this video, you're going to understand why this is such a big deal. They're launching a new Wave 3, Wave XLR, and XLR dock. All of these devices are getting a Mk.2 refresh. They look almost exactly the same as the original models. This actually is an original model because I don't have one of them yet. The difference though is what's on the inside. Each of these devices have what they're calling their Wave FX chip built in. You know how in OBS you could add filters to your microphone to improve the way that your voice sounds, things like EQ, compression, noise gates. What if you wanted to bring that broadcast ready sound into Discord or into your game chat? Well, then you go to install Voicemeeter and listen to this fucking loser ramble for an hour, and even then you can't even monitor yourself in your headphones without getting a ton of delay. And that's all because the processing is done in software. All these new devices have hardware processing, which means you can plug your headphones into your mic and listen back to your processed audio in real time with virtually zero latency. It also means all your processing is done system-wide. So when you go into Discord or game chat, you're gonna get that broadcast ready sound everywhere, not just in OBS. The old Wave 3 did all of its processing through software, so when you plug your headphones in and try to listen back to your own voice, you're either gonna get a ton of delay, which makes it super distracting when you're trying to speak into your mic, or you have to monitor your voice without any of that processing, which means you can't listen to what your voice is actually going to sound like to your viewers. You only get to hear like the raw vocals, and that's it. The Mark II has 5 built-in effects. You got EQ, a compressor, an expander, which is a little bit like a noise gate, except it's a bit smarter, it's a bit smoother. They've got a low cut filter and a 5th effect, which they're calling Voice Tune. This is Elgato's own filter. It's kind of like a magic make the mic sound better slider. It just adds a little bit of warmth to your voice. I don't really know how to explain it. These new devices also come with what they're calling ClipGuard 2.0. I'm not going to get into the technical details because you don't care. But basically, these new devices capture your voice in 3 different gains. So there's a low gain, a normal gain, and then a high gain. And they combine these 3 signals together. So even when you scream into your mic is never going to clip because it's just capturing so much more information. Okay, but like who cares? The Beacon mic had hardware processing, and that came out like a bajillion years ago. Hardware DSPs are not new in microphones. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you do want to apply an effect to your voice that isn't one of these 5 built-in effects. I've got this software VST plugin that adds reverb to my voice that I really like using in my stream, and that's just a software effect. So you would think adding that software effect to my mic is going to introduce a ton of latency, and then we're back to the same problem that we had with the old mics. That's where VST inserts come in. Even if you add software VSTs to your microphone, these new devices have a dedicated signal path that inserts VSTs directly into the signal chain of your mic. It's really hard to describe how much of a difference this makes, but on the Mark 1, Elgato had to make like a virtual device to route your mic's software processing to, and that made it impossible to monitor the sound of your voice with your software effects without introducing a ton of latency. These new Mark II devices, even if you add software VSTs, the delay is so low that in most cases, you can still monitor your audio in your headphones, and it feels like it's almost real time. You can listen to, when I enable this effect here, I'm getting very minimal latency. Again, that VST inserts feature is exclusive to the Mark II devices. You can't do this with the Mark I devices. I don't know of any other consumer microphone or audio interface that has this feature. I can finally add the demon effects to my microphone and then listen to them back in my headphones while I'm talking. And that's not something that I was able to do on any of the old Wave devices. The Wave XLR and the XLR dock, again, these are the old models, but the new Mark II models of these devices have that same wave effects chip in them, so all of the features that I just described also apply to those devices. Speaking of which, I actually do have an XLR dock Mark II. This is exactly the same form factor as the Mark I. If you have a Stream Deck Plus, you can just unscrew the back and plug in this dock, and you have a full audio interface with the knobs to control all of your audio, and then you have Stream Deck buttons to control OBS. Now, this is a good segue into the next product, because you'll notice that this one is way bigger. That's because this is the Stream Deck Plus XL. I don't know what to tell you about this product. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a massive Stream Deck Plus. This is the most buttons that we've ever seen in a Stream Deck before. 36 buttons, 6 knobs, 0 bitches. I don't really have much to say about this. If you know how a Stream Deck works, this is exactly the same thing, just way bigger. Now, something to note, the XLR dock Mark II, you can see here, I am able to fit it onto the XL. Again, it's exactly the same form factor as the regular Stream Deck Plus, so you can plug it into both the XL or the normal, and it just works. However, even though it's been working fine for me, apparently Elgato said that they were having some power issues trying to power both the dock and the massive Stream Deck Plus XL. So they have officially listed it as not compatible with the XL Stream Deck on their website, even though it has been working perfectly fine for me. So I would probably tell you guys, if you are in the market for a new XLR audio interface and you wanted to like dock it to like the big Stream Deck Plus XL, probably wait for Elgato to make an announcement, because yeah, I would hate for you guys to go buy this combination because I told you to buy it and then you get it in and it just doesn't work. Then you're gonna hate me forever. Anyway, yeah, I think it's safe to say that this is my favorite Stream Deck that Elgato has ever released. I love me some Stream Deck buttons. I actually used to have like a triple Stream Deck setup. I had like 2 Stream Deck XLs with like a Stream Deck Plus in the middle. I just unplugged all of my Stream Decks from my setup. I now only use this Stream Deck Plus XL. And I can control all my audio inside Wavelength 3 with the knobs. I can control my massive 6-camera OBS setup. I made a profile that shows live previews of all of my different camera angles. Just look how beautiful it looks on this thing. My only issue with this is it's really tall. You're gonna have a hard time trying to fit this under your monitor. It doesn't tip over or anything. Even when you like press the buttons at the top, it's rock solid. It's super stable. it's just really big. Now, they did make one more announcement, and I think this is one that is going to be pretty controversial for some of you. I think a lot of people were expecting Elgato to announce their answer to the Go XLR. An audio interface that's got faders and buttons and multiple XLR ports and all of the I/O. Well, they finally did announce something. The Wave XLR Pro. And as you can see, this thing has no controls on it. I can't share too much because Elgato wants me to pretend that they didn't already send me one, and I got no idea or anything about any of that stuff. So I'm only going to talk about what's publicly been announced. I think Elgato is going for a completely different approach to audio than most pro audio companies. Because when you think about what the Go XLR is, it's a massive audio device that has, one, a ton of I/O on the back, and two, a ton of physical controls on the front. And what Elgato seems to be doing is separating those two functions so that you get to decide what your controls do and how much control you have on your desk. Because with a Go XLR, the controls, these are fixed. Whether you plan to use all these features or not, you're stuck with them. If you don't need 4 giant sampler pads, too bad. If you don't need a robot voice button, too bad. If you need a device that isn't run by a company that laid off all their employees twice, too bad. But with the Wave XLR Pro, you got options. If you want something super minimal, you can just get the base Stream Deck Plus and have all of the same controls that you had in your Go XLR, but on something that's this size. If you want a more maximalist setup, you can get the Stream Deck Plus XL. If you want controls on your keyboard, you can get that $350 keyboard. Like, you have options to control all the same things that you could do in your Wave XLR. You can just get different size interfaces to fit whatever you want. And keep in mind, these are Stream Deck buttons. You don't have to use them just for controlling your audio. You can use them for controlling your cameras, your lighting, or literally any other script that you can think of. And it's just all built into the same device. Look, I know you guys were expecting a full mixer with dedicated faders and buttons, but get over it, okay? Who cares? You don't need to feel like you're a DJ, you're a streamer, okay? What's the difference between twisting a knob and doing this, okay? What's the difference? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about stuff or anything, okay? I literally don't care. You just comment your McDonald's order, okay? It doesn't matter.